there's one thing that last week taught me, it's that I don't know an awful lot about predicting football matches. I had that down as a loss. I really did. I think I'd been so caught up in not only that Lopetegui's job was under threat, but I think it's a hard place to go, isn't it? St James's Park, hard place to go, hard place for teams to go and get anything. Monday night, all the stuff. I did not see that win coming. I think as the week has gone on, because obviously it was on Monday night, it's become, the narrative, certainly in the mainstream media, has become more about us, about Newcastle not playing well, rather than West Ham doing something different and doing something good. And I did think that we did really, really well. I was listening to Talk Sport, as I often do, and Adrian Durham, who I know has got a bit of a reputation for this sort of thing, but I don't think he's the worst one, was very much saying that he thought Newcastle lost the game rather than West Ham winning it. But... so this is a weird one. It's a weird one to go into, and I do think we're going to lose later on today because Arsenal do look so good. They really do. And I think I might have even said this, I would have done, that the Sporting Lisbon thing is not even playing any part in it. I just think they're a really, really tough nut to crack. We all saw them last season at the London Stadium. Obviously, there was all that stuff, all the big footage of everybody leaving early, but it was a complete mess last season. But if it showed us anything at all, the game against Newcastle, it is that we are able to improve, and we've got to continue that improvement. I'm just not sure whether that improvement is enough for us to go and win the game today. Do I think he's going to mess around with the team? It appears that Jean-Claire Todibo is fit. Well, he was certainly featuring in the videos, in the training footage that the club were putting out anyway. So it's a tough decision. Does he come in or not? It was some quite interesting statistics. I don't know if you know this. Here we go. Little stat attack, little stat corner. So Max Kilman has won the most, he basically made the third most headed clearances in the Premier League this season. I think Mark Gahey was top. Can't remember who was second. Kilman was in third position. Now, I understand when you're a team like West Ham, you're going to get attacked more, so you're going to be heading the ball out more. So you know what I mean. Kilman's going to make more headed clearances than Virgil van Dijk, for instance. But it does show that he's decent in the air. What is probably a better metric is the amount of headers won in duels, contested headers, when there's two people going for the ball. I'll tell you something, Mavropanos is right up there, right at the very, very top of those figures. So I do think he's got a little bit of a decision to make there. I really don't think he'll change the composition of the midfield. It was really interesting to listen to Guillaume Balaguer, who of course is Lopetegui's media buddy, if you want, listening to him saying that, you know, how Lopetegui got it right, and in this midfield partnership, the double pivot of Soler and Paquetá, so on and so forth. I don't think he would do all that, and then we would hear that he's gonna throw that out. So I think he'll probably stick with that. Do I think he'll then bring Edson Alvarez in? I don't. I don't think he is going to bring Edson Alvarez in for this one, actually. I think there's no way that he'll do that. And I think there's two reasons. Number one, I think there's going to be a bit of a naughty step for Alvarez. I think there'll be an element of him being punished, and rightly so, to be fair, because it's not even the first time he's let the team down this season, is it? So I think that could be the case. But I also do think if you're going to look to counter what is, I was going to say Arsenal's biggest strength, it's probably not. Their set pieces are probably not their biggest strength. They're so good wide with Saka. They're so good through the middle with Odegaard, who is such a tremendous player. But I think it's fair to say that those set pieces are going to be a really, really difficult thing to counter. So you can't have enough big guys in there. So if you're going to make the case that maybe Mavropanos could possibly start this game under Lopetegui, then why would he suddenly jettison Thomas Souček? That was, I think it was our first set-piece goal of the season. Certainly our first goal from a corner this season. And it looked good. It looked like it was engineered. It looked like it had been worked out on the training pitch. Was it as sort of cerebral and technical and convoluted as Arsenal's? No, probably not. But we will take anything. At this point, we've gone from being really good at set pieces. I mean, what was it, 2-3 years ago? We were the best. We were the best in the league, weren't we? To being absolute crap. So it's good to get scoring again. I think Souček's going to play. And I do think you've got to be physical against Arsenal. They are a nasty, bloody, horrible team. Nasty, horrible team. For all their flair, for all Odegaard and for Saka and all that. They do have nasty, nasty players. It was quite interesting, actually, because I did listen to as much as I could of Mikel Arteta's press conference. He wouldn't give away anything about whether Gabriel would be fit or not. I think he picked up a knock against Sporting Lisbon. But there was enough of a wry smile. I think there was enough cockiness in Arteta's demeanour to suggest that I think probably Gabriel will be back. This will be really, really tough, and it has been interesting to try and work out how much Declan Rice has not been involved in the narrative in a build-up to this. And I actually only thought about it afterwards when myself and Gio were doing our preview, and Gio said, "Oh, players you admire at Arsenal," and somebody, and to be fair, I just forgot about Declan. And somebody had said to me, "Oh, I thought you were being a little bit shirty on that. Were you deliberately avoiding him?" Honestly, I wasn't. I think Declan's a tremendous player, brilliant player. I'd be forever grateful for what he did for West Ham. But I just forgot him. But he's been injured for a little bit. It's going to be tough. They've got such good players, really, really tough. I've got to say, if you were listening to, it was either day before yesterday's video. And I was talking about Lopetegui's press conference and how Lopetegui, I'd said it must be really hard if you're a member of the press and you go to one of Lopetegui's press conferences, and because he says nothing. Because Lopetegui was asked about Newcastle. He said, "I don't want to move on. I don't want to talk about Newcastle. I want to talk about Arsenal." So then someone in the press conference said, "OK, well, fine. Arsenal, tell us about what sort of players have West Ham got to look out for on Mikel Arteta's team." He said, "I don't want to talk about individual Arsenal players." Oh, mate. And actually, you're not making this easy. Basically, I said, it can't be easy if you've gone there. Somebody actually contacted me and said that they weren't at that press conference, but they said they'd actually driven. So they're a member of the press. I won't say who it is, but they have actually driven from Lowestoft before, all the way to Lowestoft to go to a press conference. Pellegrini? What's the matter? Lopetegui press conference at Rush Green, and he said nothing. Basically, and this guy had done 5-hour round trip for Lopetegui to say absolutely nothing. You're thinking, come on, mate, throw me a bone. So he's not saying much, but I think he looks a little bit rejuvenated. Right, we're going to try something a little bit different today, because on the preview, somebody messaged and they turned around and they said that if they wanted bland, benign opinion, which basically doesn't say anything, we're basically sitting on the fence, then they can go and get that from ChatGPT. And I thought, oh, can they? So we're going to give that a go. I'm actually going to ask ChatGPT its opinion on today's game. Before I do that, you want to see the size of this puppy? Hold on. Zippy, come here. He's huge. He is ravenous. He's look at the size of that. He's like a real dog, like a real puppy, only bigger. There you go. Huge, isn't he? Right, you go out in the garden. Go on. He's going out there. And what we're going to do before we do that is, there we go, just give him a little helping hand. Before we find out exactly what ChatGPT's got to say about the Arsenal game, first of all, can I please point in the direction of today's match sponsor, which of course is Match Bingo. If you don't have your Match Bingo card, get it in now. I'm sure the vast majority of you have already downloaded Match Bingo. They've been supporting the channel and sponsoring these videos for a long, long time. So if you've already got an account, but in fact, if you haven't got an account, go and download it now. But go and get your Match Bingo ticket in for the West Ham game. It's worth checking your account just to see if you've got any balance in there, because we've had so many winners. We've had some winners who've turned around and said, "I didn't even realise I'd won." It's very, very easy to win. Basically, you get a bingo card, and rather than it being numbers on it, it's got events that happen in a game, something like shooting a shot off target, a shot on target, a goal kick, a throw in, things like that. And once you fill up the card, there's basically 15 things that have got to happen. 3 rows of 5. Get a row. The first person to get line 1 wins. First person to get line 2 wins. If you get a full house, you win. And there's a bonus pot as well. It's only £2 a game. £2 a game. So go and check it out. The link is in the description below. Match Bingo. If you go and deposit a tenner, by the way, now they'll give you another tenner in credit. So you basically get 20 quid for spending 10. Go and check it out. 18 years and above. Don't forget. Right. I'm going to check out this ChatGPT. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you here. I tested it to see if it worked earlier, but I asked it a recipe, okay? So we're going to go now with what it thinks about football. So I'm going to tap it here, because it speaks to you, basically. Right, let's put a new thing. Excuse me, ChatGPT, could you please tell me your thoughts on tomorrow's game at the London Stadium where West Ham take on Arsenal?
Well, it's set to be an intriguing clash. Arsenal's been in fine form this season, playing some really attractive football. West Ham will need to be at their best, especially defensively, to handle Arsenal's attacking threat. However, the Hammers have shown they can rise to the occasion in big games. If they can exploit any weaknesses in Arsenal's defence and capitalise on set pieces,
She sort of does know the stuff, doesn't she?
Absolutely. The first goal could be crucial. If West Ham can strike first...
Are we having a conversation?
We sure are. We're diving into the details of the West Ham versus Arsenal game. Got any specific thoughts or predictions for the match?
Well, thank you very much for asking. That's very kind of you. I think, to be honest with you, I don't really like Mikel Arteta.
I hear ya. Arteta can be a polarising figure. What is it about him that doesn't sit right with you?
I'm glad you asked. He's like a petulant child. He's like a kid having a tantrum on the touchline. Something about his face as well. I don't know. I just don't like the look of him. Shady character, if you ask me.
I get where you're coming from. His animated style on the touchline and intense expressions can definitely rub some people the wrong way. Managers all have their unique quirks, and Arteta's fiery demeanour is certainly one of his.
May I interrupt?
What do you... Not at all. We're just having a chat. What's on your mind?
Did you notice that Lopetegui's stubble? He looked a bit dishevelled. He didn't look great in the last game. We got the win against Newcastle. I'm wondering if he will look a little bit more clean-shaven and tanned in the next game.
Yeah, I did notice that Lopetegui looked a bit more rugged than usual. Sometimes managers' appearances can reflect the stress and intensity of their jobs, especially after tough matches. Who knows? Maybe he'll opt for a sharper look in the next game to match a more polished performance from the team.
Thank you very much for your input. I'm doing a YouTube thing at the moment. I've got a YouTube channel, so we were just getting your opinion to see if you were better than me.
Happy to help, and I'm flattered you wanted my input for your YouTube channel. Sounds like you're doing some great stuff. If you ever need more opinions or ideas for your channel, I'm here for you. What's your channel about?
West Ham, funny enough.
That's brilliant. Covering West Ham on your channel must give you plenty to talk about, especially with all the ups and downs that come with football. Mixing in your thoughts on Arteta and Lopetegui adds some spice too. If you need help brainstorming topics or want to bounce around ideas for your videos, just let me know.
Thank you. Thank you very. I didn't quite catch your name, but thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. I'm just ChatGPT, here to chat and help out. If you ever need anything else...
Yeah, no, that's it. That's enough. Thank you. But thank you very much. Yeah, it went on a little bit, didn't it? Let's be honest. But very, very nice. What can you say? So thank you very much. We've got... we didn't ask for a prediction. Hold on. Very quickly, can you give me a prediction for West Ham versus Arsenal tomorrow, please?
All right, quick prediction time. I'm going to say it'll be a hard-fought game, with West Ham managing to hold Arsenal to a 2-2 draw.
Thank you.
Plenty of action.
Sorry.
You're welcome. Take care.
Yeah, thanks. Bye. Cheers. Crikey. She's going to go on a bit, doesn't she? She's just called ChatGPT, apparently. 2-2, Archbishop Desmond, says ChatGPT. Who am I to argue? I'm going to go with that as well.